The first major criminal case against Jeffrey Epstein didn't begin on a private island. It didn't begin on a plane. It began inside a mansion in Palm Beach, Florida, just steps from the ocean, where police would later say dozens of girls had been brought through the front door in broad daylight. No disguises, no secret tunnels, no remote compound, just a luxury home in one of the richest neighborhoods in America. And for years, almost nobody questioned it. In 2005, a mother walked into the Palm Beach Police Department with a story that sounded almost unbelievable. Her teenage daughter said she'd been paid to give a massage to a wealthy man at his mansion. She described being picked up, driven through security gates, and escorted inside a massive home filled with staff, artwork, and expensive furniture. Then she was taken to a room where the situation quickly turned uncomfortable. Afterward, she was paid cash and sent home. But the most disturbing part came later. She said she had been encouraged to bring friends. Detectives began investigating. What they uncovered wasn't a single incident. It was a pattern. Girls from local schools, malls, and neighborhoods were being approached with the same offer: easy money for a massage. Many were teenagers. Some came from difficult financial situations. All roads led to the same address, 358 Brillo Way. The mansion sat quietly among palm trees and ocean breezes, surrounded by homes worth tens of millions of dollars. To neighbors, nothing seemed unusual. Luxury cars coming and going were normal. Private staff were normal. Privacy itself was normal. But behind those gates, police believed something far more organized was happening. According to investigative reports, the process was almost systematic. A girl would arrive, meet Epstein, perform a massage, receive cash, and be encouraged to recruit others. Bring a friend, earn more money. Bring several, earn even more. Detectives later said this created a steady pipeline that kept new girls constantly entering the property. Some victims described waiting rooms where they would sit quietly until called. Others said staff members handled scheduling and movement through the house. Multiple rooms were reportedly set up specifically for massages. Cash payments were common, and everything happened in plain sight. As the investigation expanded, police interviewed more and more girls. The stories were disturbingly similar. Transportation arranged, brief visits, cash envelopes, recruitment, repeat. By the time detectives finished compiling evidence, they believed dozens of minors had been involved. This wasn't random. It looked organized. Inside the mansion, investigators documented surveillance cameras, locked doors, detailed contact lists, and rooms that appeared designed for specific purposes. Some areas were restricted. Movement through the house was controlled. Visitors didn't wander freely. Staff members reportedly followed strict instructions. To detectives, it didn't feel like a typical residence. It felt structured. Palm Beach police recommended serious charges, but the case soon moved into federal hands. And that's where things took a turn that still sparks outrage today. In 2008, Epstein reached a plea agreement that stunned investigators. Instead of facing major federal charges, he pled guilty to lesser state offenses. He was sentenced to 18 months in county jail, but served about 13. Even more shocking, he was granted work release privileges that allowed him to leave the facility for up to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. He returned to his mansion every night. Critics later argued that the agreement effectively shut down a broader investigation before it could fully unfold. For victims, it felt like the system had failed them. For the public, it raised a question that still lingers. How did someone accused of crimes this serious receive such lenient treatment? After his release, Epstein resumed his lifestyle. The mansion remained intact. The gates stayed closed. Visitors came and went. Life inside continued quietly for years, but outside, the story refused to disappear. Journalists kept investigating. Civil lawsuits kept surfacing. Victims kept speaking. And slowly, the world began paying attention. When Epstein was arrested again in 2019 on federal charges, the Palm Beach house instantly became a focal point. Media crews lined the street. Tourists drove past hoping to glimpse the infamous property. For many people, this house represented the origin of everything. Not the island, not the jets. This house. After Epstein's death, later that year, the property took on a different meaning. It became a symbol, a physical reminder of the case and the questions surrounding it. Eventually, a new owner purchased the estate for tens of millions of dollars. In 2021, the mansion was demolished entirely, bulldozed, removed, erased from the landscape. Today, the lot sits mostly empty. No walls, no rooms, no trace of what once stood there. Some see the demolition as closure. Others see it as the disappearance of a critical piece of history, because whatever happened inside that house can never be fully reconstructed. Unlike the island, this wasn't hidden from the world. It was surrounded by neighbors, police patrols, and everyday life. And yet, according to investigators, the activity inside continued for years before the first report finally broke the silence, which leads to the most unsettling realization of all. Sometimes the darkest stories don't unfold in remote locations or secret facilities. They happen in plain sight, behind the doors of ordinary-looking homes, in neighborhoods where nobody expects anything to be wrong. The mansion is gone, but the questions it left behind remain. Who knew what was happening? How long had it been going on? And how did something so serious continue for so long without being stopped? Because if the island was where the world finally looked, this house was where everything began. And without those walls, the full truth may never be known.